Okay, hello everyone. It's good to be with you. My name is Derek J. Freeman, and I am here at the Adam vs. the Man studios, where a man from the local government is inspecting the property, and I have some questions for him. I would like to know what his claim to authority, what claim does he have to this property? How can a person say that a total stranger is welcome, is able to come into the home of or the dwelling or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. All of these things have specific legal definitions, but I'm just really curious, what this gentleman thinks about his job, and so I'm going to be coming up with some questions for him here. In the meantime, while I'm just waiting for this gentleman to arrive in studio, I'll just be collecting my thoughts here, and I just want to make sure that this is on the record, that we're recording, and so, bear with us, but we're just going to be doing this recording from here. Right now I've set up the sound and all the mics, so we should be picking up quality sound from this microphone and the others. I'll be attaching this, I guess, to my tie is where we get the best sound from. And yeah, so bear with us. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're just joining us, this is Derek J. Freeman at the Adam vs. the Man studios, waiting out an investigation by a local government bureaucrat who has arrived on the premises. And so it's 2:03 p.m. on Wednesday, Halloween, October 31st, and I'm very excited to see what will come from this. I experienced a situation similar to this, or heard of an experience similar to this, while I was in jail in the Cheshire County House of Corrections, the Keene Spiritual Retreat, when the Keene Activism Center was raided by local authorities. The presumption was, in that case, that the Keene Activism Center was a lodging house, that too many people were sleeping there. And, it's unclear what has been alleged in this case, so we will see. I would like to know what the alleged charges are that, grant this gentleman the authority to come into the place where I work. So here I am, just compiling some questions. If you have any questions, please, I do have the chat room open. So if you are watching in the chat room at ustream.tv/user/Adam vs. the Man, you can chat with me live, or you can tweet me at Derek J. Freeman. That's DERRICK Freeman. So I'll be looking for your tweets and also your live interaction in the chat room. So this is a sound check for the people who are in the chat room. If you would, please indicate whether or not you can hear me clearly, if I need to turn up the volume on anything, if you like my tie, whatever it might be. Hey everyone, this is Derek J, and I am recording live right now from the Adam vs. the Man studios. I'm broadcasting. You can see one of the webcams is here, and we've got another one somewhere else hidden inside. Oh, right over there. And so hopefully the idea is to keep accountable the gentleman who has come onto the premises from the local government, and to ask him some simple questions about, what are you doing here today, and why do you think that you have the right to come here in the first place? Were you invited? Was there some reason for this investigation? Just, basic questions that any person would like to know if a complete stranger wants to walk into their house and start opening doors. So I'm going to leave this camera rolling and facing this direction, where the guests arrive, towards the green room, so that, if this gentleman or anyone else walks down, I'll be able to keep a record of what's happening here. Oh, some people in the chat room are curious if the gentleman who came in today has a warrant. He does not have a warrant. My understanding of the situation is that Adam is currently outside speaking with the gentleman, that he has not yet entered the premises, but he does intend to. I think that they are looking to work out the situation, whatever it is, before this man feels the need to enter the property. I think the idea is that Adam is going to be speaking with this gentleman outside, and just trying to basically keep him away. Because I think that he and I and the others who work here, we respect or we value our privacy, and would like others to respect that privacy. Of course, we have guests here when they are invited, but this man, to my knowledge, has not been invited to the Adam vs. the Man studios, especially anyone who's a government person. So right now, if there's a little bit of silence on the line, this is all being recorded. The interaction upstairs is being recorded. We have our wonderful editor and affiliate coordinator named Rachel, who is Rachel Bussell. She is filming the interactions upstairs. I realized that I had some I forgot to turn on some of the cameras, so I'm going to step out for just a moment and make sure that we've got other cameras recording this. so that when, hopefully, if it comes to the point where this man comes into the studio, we can have him mic'd up and have a bunch of cameras on him and get a good interview. So let's get those cameras rolling.
I guess whoever complained didn't know what our hobby is here. Actually, we have two guests joining us, Derek. Two home inspectors.
Okay, hey, how's it going?
Say that we did allow them in, at least invite them in consent by signing a form say we consent.
Hey, how's it going today?
To be in the room. So.
Hi.
Are we streaming in here? Is this live?
Yeah, we're streaming. Yeah, we're live. How's it going today?
If you'd like to sit down, we'd like to stand. We'd like to be able to ask.
How do you like the place? Feel free to have a seat. We've got the mics hot.
You don't want to sit down? Because we really do want to ask some serious questions.
So why'd you come here today?
What your job is and
first of all, so I ask who you are?
Am I obligated to answer your questions, sir?
Kevin. See you later.
Okay, the gentlemen are walking out of the studio now. I asked if I was legally, I didn't say legally, but it was implied. Am I obligated to answer this gentleman's questions? He's a total stranger walking into the place where I work. I don't feel obligated to answer any of his questions. And he said, Kevin, I assume speaking to his associate by name, and they nodded and decided to walk on out. That they were not interested in pursuing any more information in this area. I don't know why, because this is just the best area for recording all sorts of information. This is a studio filled with cameras and hot mics. So I'm glad that the interaction was brief, but I would like to get some answers to some very basic questions like, what are they doing here? And why do they feel like they have the authority to come into a home, uninvited? So this is a very curious situation. I will keep you informed as to the current status. I did see that both Rachel and Adam were recording the interactions, and so I'd like to ask Rachel, perhaps she'll sit down in studio and fill the folks in about how that interaction went. Adam is following shortly behind, and so we've got all the cameras mic'd and ready. We are live and broadcasting and recording these interactions. So Rachel, the mic is hot. Fill us in. What is the situation? What just happened?
They basically called us a bunch of kids and just said, we're not going to deal with this, and walked away. Mm-hmm. They were very cold and solid with the way that they were. Here. Yeah, we're live.
I'll set the.
So it was.
Is anybody watching?
Yep.
The surprise broadcast?
Yep. Some people were surprised and have joined the broadcast. Yes.
Little home invasion we just experienced.
Yeah. Well, it was interesting that they didn't go along with it and be relaxed. I don't know, like they were getting punked or something. That's what the thought that came to mind was that they would, have a little conversation, be like, okay, well, we really do have to get along with the inspection and go. They were just kind of rude about it and walked away. It's very odd.
Adam, what was the interaction like?
It was strange. I mean, most interactions with government agents when you stand up to them are pretty strange. And these were guys that were used to being, I think, used to run into people that are upset, like, oh, what business do you have in my house, and being like cantankerous and accepting. And not people that are like thinking and planning ahead and really know what to do and how to actually defend your rights with the government. Now, I did make a questionable call here that I want to highlight here because I did go ahead and sign their paper that said they were allowed to come in and inspect today.
Okay.
And granted the consent for that.
Now, why did you make that decision?
Because they said that would conclude, that had the potential for concluding the harassment. That was.
It would mean that we're not under duress.
You were signing in self-defense, so to speak?
No, I was signing to avoid duress, basically.
Okay.
Because they made it clear, and I got it on record, and that was important, that when they said when they came to the door, what happens if this isn't concluded, whatever. Will you come back with a warrant? Will you come back? And that's the duress, because
continue the investigation.
When we called to schedule this morning, or when they called me to schedule it, which was a response to me calling back to after getting the letter that they sent us. The gentleman that I spoke to this morning said that yes, that this did come with the threat of a warrant, and that like if this wasn't concluded, or if we didn't allow the inspection today, that they would, that they could get a warrant. Not that they would, but that they could, and that was the explicit threat that was made to me on the phone this morning. Like, yes, if you don't allow the inspection, yes, there will be a warrant. But I'd like to think that, and now we don't know what's going to happen. And this is really like the weird position that we're in, because they came in, as people saw, I don't know, did it actually show on the live stream? We weren't able to see it. Because
no, they didn't step on camera.
They didn't step on camera. There were two gentlemen, and they both military vets, according to them, and they had little badges from the city of Herndon. And they came down here, and they realized that we were setting them up for a real conversation, and they can't have that, And we told them that they were being recorded, and I told them that I was streaming
they were perfectly
earlier,
fine
so
with it and polite about that.
Yeah,
they didn't.
Virginia is one of the states that has a single-party consent law.
So we didn't even have to inform them for anything.
Yeah, they didn't have to be legally informed.
I mean, we could have really set them up, and I think that would have been rude. I think that's rude to like pretend that you're to film someone covertly when it would be appropriate to film them overtly.
Yeah, that's something that the government does.
And they're not pretending to trying to pretend that you're not being filmed. Like that's I mean, there's a time for that. There are places where it's appropriate, and it wouldn't have been inappropriate to just have security cameras rolling throughout the house and not say anything.
Some people.
But we're bringing them in here saying, hey, look, you want to sit down, gentlemen? Let's have a conversation. And they actually left without doing the inspection. So I mean, as far as I can say, if anything comes up with this, if it comes to a warrant, then they'll have to get a warrant and come back. And this is what's scary, is like, did we piss them off? Are they gonna go, oh, by the way, their hedges weren't trimmed, and now we got a warrant for that, and now and they're gonna be sending us letter after letter, trying to control everything we're doing on this property.
Is there anything that you would have done differently about this interaction?
I don't know. That's a very important question to ask every time. I don't know. What I mean, I could have spoken smoother. I could have said things and not said other things. But
I think you handled it fairly well. My only thing was that they said they've done this thousands of times, and you did get into the questioning a little bit too much of how would you know how many people are living here, and I figured that would be a kind of a red flag for them, that they'd go, oh, well, he's really curious about how we're going to find out. What is he going to do to... Yeah,
I might have waited until they were down here before getting into all that, but I kind of thought that they were like walking away. They didn't seem like really super eager, and I'll bet they were. I have a feeling. There was something about them. I don't know. I hate to say something like this on a hunch, but I have a feeling they were both carrying. I didn't ask, and that's what I should have asked. I should have asked.
Are you aware if they're law enforcement officers?
Technically, they're not. I did get business cards from them.
You did check their names.
My questions I didn't get to ask them is: are they public servants? Because,
they are.
I assume that they're paid for by tax dollars, and if that's the case, then allegedly they serve the public, and I don't feel very served by strangers walking into my home uninvited.
Right.
So I just would like to make that point to them, like, hey, hello, you're not welcome here. Nothing personal, but you're a stranger, and I don't invite strangers into my home. That sort of thing.
And what they're
Did you get to make any points like that?
Yes, I did, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have that video, and maybe we'll combine with this, and we'll post it all together some other later. But they are Kevin T. Karnick and David H. Pace, Senior Community Inspector 2 / Deputy Zoning Administrator. And I don't, they're probably just guys trying to make a living, and they figure that policing their community in this way is some legitimate service, because they don't understand the legitimate violations of property rights that are at the premise of what they're doing, the violation of the Fourth Amendment. And since they were both veterans, I really should have asked them if they valued their oath to the Constitution, if they thought this was, an unreasonable search or seizure, an unwarranted one under the standards that just the Supreme Court has established as standards for the Fourth Amendment. And I guess that's one thing I should have done differently. I should have asked them about that. But that was the thing. That was what I wanted to ask them, like here in front of the live audience. We didn't get to do that.
Sit down with them and actually have a conversation about their job and what they're doing. I mean, they work for the government or some part of the government. Why can't the public question?
And they did tell us that we're allowed to have up to 4 unrelated adults living at this house based on the square
how
footage.
nice to have their permission.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Isn't that
because
nice?
the amount of people in a house makes a difference. Well, that's the thing to me is what they're enforcing makes like you're intruding upon other people's lives and telling you can't live with more than so and so many people. How? Why? Because you could have a whole city in your house. Like
Answer Mexicans.
Yeah,
No, that's what it is.
unreasonable.
That's what we found out from our landlord the other day, that it was because there's a Mexican infestation around here. There's a Mexican problem, and all the establishment people here had to keep out the Mexicans, and there apparently legitimately was an issue. I wouldn't call it a problem with daring anti-authoritarians willing to work under the table as day laborers, coming in and offering their services.
Not an unusual sight in this town to see people standing outside in a big parking lot, ready to be picked up for work.
Yeah.
In fact, one local said at his Home Depot there are hundreds of laborers who get picked up every day. So, I mean, this is a very common occurrence.
And if the market didn't demand it, they wouldn't
be there. Exactly.
So obviously they're serving somebody's desires.
Market algorithm, it's the way people interact. It's how we work.
Okay, so if the inspectors come back with a warrant, what is the plan? Will you be having another live stream? Will you be doing this again? Will you be recording?
Yeah,
will you be asking different questions? What's the plan?
We will certainly be recording, and I can't imagine on any home inspection justified home invasion that they would be like kicking down doors or coming with guns or saying that you can't film. So I think we'll be able to get it on the record, but that we gave them the opportunity even after they declined to sit down and talk in front of the cameras, although they were already on camera and already talking in front of cameras, just not live.
They were, yeah.
We gave them the opportunity. I said, please, inspect the house, and they declined the opportunity. But it just so happens that as of right now, we only have 3 people living here. And I think we're only going to have 1 more, so we're under the legal limit on that sense for unrelated adults. But even if we were to have more, all we have to do is get married, Derek, and then we'll be related adults. And
I do.
Then you won't count.
I'll be the adopted love child.
My final question or concern, I guess, is that if this should happen again, what is our obligation, what is anyone's obligation to allow another inspection? Once you've already consented to one, how many times can the government people come back and say, oh, well, we didn't do a thorough enough job, or we felt a little intimidated and harassed, and we wanted to leave the first time. We'd like to come back. We'd like to reschedule. How many times can local bureaucrats demand entry into my home?
Until they find a reason to arrest you. It's harassment, and it's going to continue, and they're probably going to put someone on watch on the house, honestly. That's just...
Now, what do you mean by that, put someone on watch?
Have someone sit in a car somewhere and watch the house, and watch how many people go in and out. I mean, there's a red flag that's raised. They didn't do the inspection. They left
We clearly gave them the opportunity.
We gave them the opportunity.
I signed
We
their
set up
form.
the
I consented.
inspection.
I brought them down to the basement where we have this studio space.
And you asked for a conversation first.
I said we'd like to have a conversation first, and they said they didn't want to. They said that was a game. They don't want to play any games. And in a sense, we were setting them up to be live streamed to actually share their conversation with the world in real time, because they knew we were recording from the beginning. Yeah, so they saw this, and this is what set them off. It's
offensive to me that they would categorize having a real conversation with a complete stranger who feels like he can enter your home as a game. I mean, how is that a game? That's a pretty legitimate thing? To have a conversation with someone who wants to enter your home without a warrant? Yeah,
and want the
that's pretty
accountability
legit.
of streaming it. Like, hey, in case something happens, in case these people, we want this on record before we can get videos uploaded. We want to be streaming so that there's a record of this incident of people, coming into our house under with us under duress, essentially.
Let's just repeat for the folks who have just found out about the live stream. Why were the investigators called? What is the reason? What's the alleged charge?
They said there was a complaint, like specifically a complaint. They wouldn't say who, but that it was because of observed traffic and vehicles outside the house.
People in and out.
Okay.
Can't have too much fun around
I
here.
wonder. Okay, say several of the people were visitors and they were friends from somewhere and they were coming to stay with you for 2 months because something happened in their life and they're not
Are they living here? Like, what qualifies as living here? Yeah.
They're going to be leaving at some point. Like, how would they handle that circumstance or situation?
I know. And then they'd have to go to court and they'd have to really provide. I mean,
they'd have to go through a lot.
We do have. I mean, the check that society puts on government does raise a significant standard of the hoops that they would have to jump through legally in order to come back with a warrant and in order to really harass us. I mean, they could harass us, keep harassing us for little stuff. I don't think they'll bother. Because if anything, I think they've realized that this is not a threat, that this is, that we are not setting ourselves up. Because we're not really breaking any laws here. We don't have excessive occupancy, even by their legal standards. We had a little traffic for a while when we moved in, but
we've only been here a month, not even.
But what this is that it's 3 young people living together in a house, and they say, we will only want nuclear families in our neighborhood, and we're going to call the guys with guns to harass you because you're actually 3 young people living in a house having having fun and stuff and having people over. Like, oh my gosh! So we can't
having a life.
Have that.
You're not allowed to have a life.
You're not allowed to have a life here. So I'm part of me is like the vengeful part of me wants to grab the code book and call them and call in a complaint on every single house in this neighborhood, and be like, you know what? They've got their grass is too long. Their door is the wrong color.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
They've got too many cars in their driveway, and I don't want to I know that would be. I think that would be morally wrong in the sense that you're, turning the guns of government on someone else. But in a sense, I'm acting peacefully, and I would be. Well,
you'd overload the system.
Yeah,
and show them how ridiculous.
Yeah, so I mean that's why we're being harassed, and I'm hopeful. I now thinking about it, I think what's most likely is they're not going to come back unless we really piss off the neighbors, and that's the thing is if that's the dangerous part of the society that we have created is that it's acceptable, and we have this dangerous institution called government where if someone complains to government, they have to go send guys with guns after the problem. Well, and that's really disturbing. But that's just living in statist society. That's one of the things you have to live with. And you can call in an anonymous complaint on someone, and this is like a very, very minor version of swatting. When you have a SWAT team called on someone's house with a false report and have them kick down the door. And half the
time the SWAT team can't even get the damn house right.
Yeah. So it's. It's kind of a situation like that, and I'm really uncomfortable with the whole thing. It makes me nervous, and it's a huge distraction from the work that we're doing here, and trying to, regularly produce good media. So, Is this sound okay? By the way, it seems like it's really low here.
You'd have to put the headphones on.
Yeah, the sound is great. I checked it earlier today. One point I wanted to make is that I was concerned. I was surprised that the gentleman who asked me my name was so easily deterred when I asked him what is my obligation, or do I have an obligation to answer his questions.
Like, you're not jumping to do exactly what we say? You must be a threat.
So what that meant to me when he decided, okay, this guy is answering my question with a question, that's too much resistance for me. What does this guy deal with on a normal day-to-day basis? Do people just roll over when he asks them to? Does everyone provide him with whatever information he asks
and that's the problem.
Out of fear, definitely. I mean, my heart was beating. I'm not very brave on those things, but like out of fear, people respond, and because if they lie, they start shaking and they're under pressure.
Well, I guess the footage was pretty good. I mean, it's still going to work out like a To Catch a Predator episode.
It will. Now, is there anything else that you wanted to let people know about this incident? I've already told everyone the date is Halloween 2012. It's roughly 2 p.m. when the investigators entered the premises.
They came here exactly at the time.
If you want to check out some Adam vs. the Man gear, that's at adamversustheman.com/gear. Is there anything else that you want the good folks to know?
I don't know. I want to get in the chat. What are people saying about this?
Yeah,
you got any helpful tips or
what's
insights?
the conversation?
This is one of those times I'm like, tap the collective wisdom.
People want to know where this is happening. I don't know if that's something that you'd like to disclose.
Yeah, we can say it's in the city of
state.
Herndon. It's in the city of Herndon,
Yeah,
Virginia.
well, and we're living in
of
Virginia, and I've lived in Maryland my whole life, and they've always been this way. And my parents are always, telling me, well, one person fucked it up for everybody else, and sorry, and you gotta you just have to comply, and these are the rules, and we have homeowners associations, and no one ever really puts up a fight, and they just let it happen, and they're pretty tough about it. My stepfather works down in D.C., and because he has Maryland tags and not D.C. tags, they actually stopped him one day when he was going to his car. He worked at night, and they're like, well, we've seen you parked here for a month, and we just want to make sure, if you live here that you change your tags. They are that precise and up everyone's ass pretty much in this general area. That's how it's always been for 24 years, at least for my memory. So it's just the area. It's government everywhere.
So we've been here a month and a half now, which means on our lease we've got 10 and a half months to go.
Woo!
And, I think one way or another we'll be able to ride this one out and enjoy a year in Northern Virginia in our current circumstances.
Get
and
some
enjoy
plenty of footage.
the studio. And if they do come back, yeah, we'll have good footage. We'll make an ongoing series out of this. And
the home invasion special.
yeah, the home to
catch a
home
government.
invader.
Now, if people
To catch a
are
government
interested in
predator.
having
A
more
government
video
official
cameras
or-
that are live streaming or security cameras, if people are interested in helping the Adam vs. the Man crew be able to capture these types of things, where can people support the Adam vs. the Man operation?
AdamVersusTheMan.com/invest. If you want to donate, we'd love to have a set of just CC, security cameras here in the house, constantly recording into a hard drive on a safe, and be able to have that going.
Mm-hmm.
Something I can't afford right now. We've got mics coming in the mail, like proper radio mics, so we've spent some money on that. But this really is a very, very tight budget operation. So if people would want to donate to help us get just the appropriate home security measures, that would probably be the next thing on the list here, now that this is a part of our lives living in Herndon. Although if we can make it a year here, and we are subject to harassment basically at the hands of the community, because that's what it is. It's the community saying you're not welcome. I mean, even if it's one person calling in a complaint, and then a few inspectors for the government coming out and actually harassing us, then excuse me.
Yeah.
We can. It's the community saying you're not welcome here. Even if it's just one person calling the complaint, it's a couple enforcers coming out, inspectors, and it's the rest of the community saying this is okay. We're going to hire these people to be available to point guns at people when they do stuff that we don't like inside their house.
I think we need to schmooze our neighbors. I'll bake them some pumpkin muffins.
All right. Well,
we kind of tried that. But,
with one neighbor, right?
Yeah, I know. We
got to talk to,
we had
because it
the rest
could be
of the
anybody. It could be anyone who can see the house and.
Well,
Really?
we do try and reach out to our neighbors. Adam and I did visit some people who live nearby just the other day to discuss, property rights issues. Are we encroaching, or are there any problems? Maybe they were the ones who issued this complaint against us. It turns out not. So we still don't know who lodged the complaint against the AVTM studios, but we will keep the listeners informed. I want to thank everyone who joined us for the Spur of the Moment live stream.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great having you.
Thanks for being out there.
For being a
all of
witness.
you.
Thanks
Yeah.
for clicking in and being a witness. I know there's only a dozen people here, but
Right,
that's
thanks for being a
huge.
part of
Really,
this.
I
that's
have
very
one
important.
thing I was thinking about with neighbors, and it's when something like this happens, especially with us and people who are activists. this is a good time for education and outreach to the neighbors, and say, hey, how would you feel if, I thought that you had too many people living in your house and called, and kind of give them the introduction, even if it's a small seed that you're planting, and give them the introduction to voluntarism and life without government. I think
Ask
that
them
would
to
be,
respect your own freaking
ask
property.
them to respect. Be like, look, I'll respect you if you respect me. And at the same time, you educate someone. You're kind of building a community. And if the SWAT were to come, your neighbor might go, hey, your house is being watched. Just let you know they're coming. I heard this through the grapevine. You build yourself a little community
Support network.
network. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and at the
that's
same
something we
time,
should
bring
be
more
doing
people
anyways.
into the idea of voluntarism. So
Wonderful. Anything else we'd like to plug before we say good night?
I don't know, but if we have a cop
Watch the
warming
newscast.
party, if we have a cop warming party, we are going to be inviting these two gentlemen. as
Oh,
well to
yes,
come back for dinner.
yes.
So
That's a
that'll be,
great idea.
Now that we've got their individual numbers, we'd like to invite them back to actually have a conversation about
and be
this.
professional, because we're professionals.
Okay.
I mean, really.
They were really. I mean, they weren't unprofessional, except in the way they handled that when they were
They were just military
confronted with the question, and they were
yeah.
just. I mean, it really was like an episode of To Catch a Predator, where the guy just goes,
the fuck. Yeah.
I'm being set up.
I'm just getting
and
some food,
walks out.
man.
I'm just getting some food. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell? I'm just getting some food,
Came
man.
here for nothing.
I just came here to get some food.
So,
Hungry.
all right. Well, I'm Derek J. Freeman.
Just
Thanks
hanging
so
out.
much for
Just hanging out.
being with us. You can tweet or follow me at Derek J. Freeman. This is Rachel Bissell,
Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Bissell. I
affiliate
edit videos.
coordinator of Adam vs. the Man.
Watch the newscast, please.
This is, of course, Adam Kokesh of Adam vs. the Man. Thanks so much, everyone. And is there anything else we wanted to plug before we say goodnight?
I guess if anybody has any other thoughts about this, if they have experience with this, especially with the town of Herndon specifically, or any general advice, please email me, adam@adamversustheman.com. If you have an extra set of security cameras you'd like to donate, we'd really appreciate it at this point. But we'd also like to state for the record that it just so happens, having not even been aware that there was such an ordinance about over-occupancy before moving into this house, and it would have been nice, for the landlord to have told us. But I mean, he did.
I'm
I think
sure it's-
we
he
are
didn't
we
think-
are
yeah.
because we are under the limit anyways. But I just wanted to point out for the record, yes, we are under the legal limit. We have 3 adults living here right now. We might have a 4th, which would put us at the legal limit.
Mm-hmm.
And then
if you two get married, you
if
can
we
have
get
a
married,
fifth.
then we're okay. Then we can add a 5th person here. But if we take the cult, maybe if I adopt everybody here as dependents,
Adam and his
then
Kokeshes.
and we're all related, then we can have up to 10 people here according
Can you
to the
adopt
zoning.
someone if they're over a certain age? Just be like, I want you to be my kid.
No, I don't think so. I think they have to be younger than 18.
Womp.
All right.
So just
Thank
adopt.
you. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Good night. All right, so that was a very interesting interaction. Of course, you followed along the whole time. I'll be posting this raw video up to FR33 Man TV raw, and then I'll be posting some of the interesting material up at FR33 Man TV. You can check it out at the website fr33man.tv, and I'll be seeing you soon. Peace.
had to do, and I did it last minute. I don't think they saw me because they were paying too much attention to you. So I erased the board because it had all of our names on it and the days that we cleaned. And I didn't. And since they've done this 1,000 times, I didn't want them to catch that little detail and be like,
That would be interesting.
So
But there's still only like 4 names on there, and one
No,
of them
there
doesn't
were-
live here anymore anyway. So,
yeah, but there were.
Well,
it
let me
was-
see-
it
let me
was
see
enough
the-
that
do you mind if I
it
see the
was
chat?
No, no, no.
'Cause I didn't pull it up earlier there, and it doesn't give you the back of
it only gives
obviously.
you what
It
you've
only
seen.
from when you tune in.
I think we're still broadcasting. So.
Oh, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I should have stopped that there. We are still broadcasting. I thought you were shutting it off from here. Oh well.
I can't do the Carlton, but it's something.
Oh, is someone asking for the Carlton? That's
No,
funny.
I just did a little stupid dance since we were still broadcasting. So. Entertainment.